Welcome back, guys. What's up? It's Pauly. Nice to see ya. Nice to be seen. Nice to be back. It's been a while since I've been here. Tyler, how long's it been? We kind of took a little break, right?
Yeah, dude, it's been like 2 weeks almost.
Yeah, I took a little break. Man. Do I look tired?
No, I think you actually look pretty good.
Really?
Yeah, dude, better than normal.
So how do I normally look?
Slightly crustier.
Slightly crustier. That's good. It's honest. Well, I'm feeling all right. I feel, oh man. I feel, what's the word? Overwhelmed. I've had a lot of tragedy in the last year of my life. I had my mom passed, my best friend Gary passed, my sister passed, and just recently my dad passed. So that's a lot, don't you think? A lot to be on, right?
Yeah, dude, I can't imagine.
Yeah, because all you do is you what?
I just go skate.
You skateboard and you hurt your ankle, right?
Yeah.
That's all this fucking squirrel does. He hurts his little fucking baby ankle, and he's like, oh. But that's what happens when you turn, I was talking to a friend that's, late 40s, 50s. When you're in your, Tyler, and you'll experience this, when you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, like that's when everyone around you starts dying, and it's fucking gnarly, But this particular rant and this, do you think this is an episode?
Kind of, it's a little special.
Yeah, it's like a little, my podcast, Random Rants, is, it's a little bit of an episode situation, but this particular one is going to be dedicated to my father, Sammy Shore, who recently passed this last week. And as you can see, my mom's pillow is on my dad's face. And she's like, get it off of it. Don't put my fucking face on him. Don't put my pillow on his face. It's a pig. Anyways, that's my fucking life. So I'm an orphan now, Tyler. I'm pretty much an orphan. What do you think about that?
It's a bummer.
Both your parents are alive?
My dad is. I don't know where my mom. I don't know.
You don't even fucking know where your mom is.
No idea.
What's her name?
Kim?
Kim, if you're out there, Krusty Gromit Tyler's looking for you. Fucking hook him up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, dude. Anyways, all kidding aside, my dad, Sammy Shore, finally, he passed. I wouldn't want to say finally, but 92 years old. It's a pretty fucking good run. 92. Fuck, I hope I make it to 92. It's good genes, I assume. Anytime, you can't really explain, it's kind of like, people say they have ailments or things. You don't really understand what they are unless you have that. So people that are watching, I'm sure you understand what I'm saying is if your parents, or someone has passed along, it's kind of like a club. I'm like in the orphan club. My friend Dave hit me up. He says, dude, we're orphans now. So I'm pretty much an orphan. Anyways, welcome to Pauly Shore's Random Rants video podcast. It's also audio, and it's on, where's the audio playing? Spotify? Help me out with this shit.
iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, and then the video component is what? YouTube. Is it on Facebook? It's on Facebook, right?
We definitely put clips out on Facebook.
Yeah, we put Beth Hoops out in St. Louis. I got to burp 1 sec. I just ate some food. Anyways, so this is going to be, we're going to reminisce. This is my week of mourning of my father's passing, Sammy Shore. He's up there going, hey, Pa, what are you doing up there? But it's pretty crazy, I visited him a lot in the last couple, 2, 3, 4 months, because I knew it was kind of winding down. He had an amazing life, which we're going to kind of explore at different levels. my relationship with my dad, which was pretty amazing because I'm a comic, he's a comic. If you Google Sammy Shore, the death of Sammy Shore, just Sammy Shore, you could see all the beautiful things that people have said about him and what you know, what he meant to so many people. Just to break it down, and then we'll kind of break it down periodically. My dad was touring in the 50s. He met my mom, got her pregnant. They had kids in Miami. They moved out to California. Together they started the Comedy Store. And my parents got divorced when I was 3 years old. My mom raised me. My dad was always around, helping out, you know, wherever. You know, he was an amazing father, was always providing. He never was not providing. And we'll break it down. I also want to put a thanks to the Foo Fighters for bringing me on stage. This last couple days I was there. I'm gonna go to the hallway camp so they could see my. Usually I go to that camp, but I'm gonna go over here. I want them to see my shirt. This was the shirt that a fan made me. I gotta walk silly so we can bring some comedy to this fucking thing. A fan made me of my dad. Can you see my whole shirt? Yeah. Oh, cool. A fan made me in Detroit. I did shows in Detroit. I apologize. I don't remember your name. It was a beautiful girl. She gave me this beautiful shirt of my father, the late, great Sammy Shore, and I wore it on stage at the Foo Fighters show. So if you Google Pauly Shore Foo Fighters, I assume you'll see some stuff. So now we're going to go to the Breakfast Nook camp so I can kind of explain, you know, what happened. So I was on the bill to do it was called the Sonic Tonic fucking music festival. There's my Filipino neighbors. Hi, I'm up here. I heard your wife passed. Okay, she's okay though, right? Better, yeah, my dad just passed. My dad, like 3 days ago. Yeah. Yeah, so condolences to you. Yeah. Everyone says that when someone dies, they say, my condolences. So my condolences to you and your family. Okay, yeah, my dad, Sammy Shore, he passed. So, all right, bye. So, yeah, death is around us. That's the one thing we all can't avoid is death, you know. This is going to be, Tyler, I don't want this to be a depressing episode. I just want to kind of, is that cool or? Yeah, whatever I'm feeling. All right, so I was on this show. I'm on the side of the stage. The Foo Fighters were on stage, and they played the song Hero, which was one, you are my hero, I'm walking anymore. I don't know the actual lyrics to it, but I'm sitting on the stage, and then Dave Grohl calls me out, and he brings me in front of 50,000 people, and we did a salute to my father, Sammy Shore, in Columbus, Ohio. So I want to thank Dave and the Foo Fighters for doing that for me. Tyler, were you able to see that, or? You saw it, right? It was pretty cool? Yeah, dude, it looked great. Yeah, so, you know, trying to send them off with respect and dignity, you know, because that's what he deserves. Unlike fucking Tyler, who's a little bitch grommet, doesn't deserve shit. So, yeah, that's the thing. I was talking to the gentleman next door who lives next to me, my Filipino neighbor. Basically, when someone dies, I don't know, you know, I'm sure you've had someone die in your life. Everyone is my condolences. You know, I had so many people, famous comedians and female friends and just random people, just my condolences, my condolence. But there's one person that didn't reach out to me and say my condolences. That was Tyler. Tyler, what's up? What was missing?
Oh, dude, yeah. I wanted to see you in person.
What?
I wanted to see you in person.
I'm coming in your area there.
Okay.
So here, let's see what happened. You didn't give me a text or anything?
Oh man, I was typing a text.
Yeah.
I just didn't know what to say, and I'm like, I'll see him in person. I'll tell him in person. Make sure he's okay.
Well, then tell me. I'm right here.
I hope you're okay.
No,
I really don't.
You're supposed to say my condolences.
My condolences.
It's okay. You're my friend, dude. Don't touch my penis, bro. Anyways, So yeah, so my condolences. That's what people say when someone dies. They say my condolences, dude. My dad gave me one word of advice growing up as a kid because I grew up in a very wild establishment, the Comedy Store. Grew up, a lot of crazy different babysitters babysat me. So I was around Richard Pryor, Robin Williams, you know, David Letterman. I don't know, the list goes on. Back in the 70s, it was Red Fox. It was Pat McCormick. It was, I mean, I got so many stories with all these fucking knuckleheads. Cheech and Chong, you know, Steve Martin, you know, all of them. And my dad, even though my dad wasn't physically around all the time, he was there, you know, as much as he could be. We would go to Little League games. He would always sit in the stands, which was kind of cool. He'd sit in the Little League stands. Get him off of me! Don't put my pillow on his face! He's a bastard! No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. And sorry, Mom, you're stuck with Dad now. This is her pillow, and that's his face. So you're in heaven now with him, so fucking respect. So, oh my God. This fucking episode's gonna go fucking, it's not gonna go viral, I'll tell you that. But my parents were divorced, so when I'd go to Little League, I'd play Little League, I'd have, I'd physically be you know, at bat, and then on one side of the the mound would be like about 5 hungover comedians. And they would be hitting on all the Beverly Hills Housewives, because I played Beverly Hills Little League. Sam Dillon was on my team. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Bob Dylan. It was Bob Dylan's son, Sam Dillon, was on my team. And Bob Dylan used to sit in the stands and heckle Sam. Did you know that, Tyler?
No, I didn't know that at all.
Yeah, Bob Dylan has a kid named Sam Dillon. He played right field. And he was on my team, and he was pretty bad. I was actually really good. I played second base and pitch. I had a mean slow knuckle curve. I'd be like, throw that shit over like, and it would just be like, and people would fucking strike out. But Bob Dylan used to sit in the stands. Get him off my face! Bob Dylan would sit in the stands and heckle Sam. And he'd be like, how does it feel to be thrown out at home, to be on your own like a rolling stone? Is that crazy?
It's insane.
I'm doing shtick now, bro. My dad hasn't even put in the ground yet. I'm fucking doing shtick. Crazy. Sorry, Dad. I'm doing shtick. But my dad would sit on the stands. He would sit on the stands. And, you know, the comedians would be on one side and Bob Dylan would be over there. On the other side would be my dad, and this is a true story. I'm going to go back to the other cam so I can explain it. Go to the hallway cam. So my dad would sit in the stands, you know, as the comedians were on one side and Bob Dylan was on one side. And my dad would sit on the stands on the other side, and I swear to God, I'm not making this up. He would have all his clothes off except for Speedos. And he would oil up his whole body with Band of Soleil, baby oil, fucking, you know, bullshit or whatever, you know, sun oil on his body. And I swear, I'm not kidding, he would yell at me like an old homosexual. And he'd be like, hit the ball, you little shit, hit the ball, that's my son. I'm like, fuck, what the fuck is going on here? I got these 5 fucking comedians here. I got Bob Dylan over here. How does it feel? And I got my dad over here. Hit the ball, you little shit. I'm like, fuck, this is embarrassing. But anyways, that was that. But it's music time. I picked a special album from my dad for, this is Pauly Shore's Random Rants, beautiful podcast. Back in business. I took some time off because my dad passed, 92 years old, in Vegas. I was with him on hospice. We got to talk about hospice because that's a real fucking treat. I don't know if anyone ever experienced being around someone that is dying on hospice, but oh, let me tell you, it's a fucking blast. It's fucked up. I'm just kidding. Anyways, what chubby babe did I have sex with there last night, dude? Anyways, I picked a special album from my dad. I know my dad was a big fan of Cat Stevens. Cat Stevens is fucking the man. So we got a special song for him. We're still mourning, you guys, of the passing of him. You know, we're not celebrating him yet. We do that next week after he's buried. We're doing his funeral tomorrow, by the way. So here we have a special Cat Stevens song for my dad. This is for my dad. We're mourning, you guys. We're young, deep, no time.
You're only dancing on this earth
For a short while.
And though your dreams may toss and turn you now, they will vanish away like your dad's best dreams dim and blue.
This is for my dad, you guys, Sammy Shore. I love you, Dad.
To last forever, you know we never will. You know and the actions make the goodbye hard still.
This is for you, Dad. I know you're up in heaven right now looking down on me. Young, me, this is time. This is my dad, you guys. Google him. Sammy Shore. Put positive energy for him. He's out up there in heaven with my mom. Get him away from me. He's a bastard. No, you can't say that. That's too soon. Too soon. Too soon. Beautiful song by Cat Stevens, you guys. Dedicated to my dad. I love you, Dad. Beautiful. Do you guys love it? Anyways, so that was dedicated to my father, Sammy Shore. Did I tell you that? Oh, I never even got to tell you guys this. My dad gave me one word of advice because, you know, as a father or as a mother, you always give your kids what? You give them fucking advice. And you say, do this, don't do that. The one word of advice that my that my father always gave me is he said, Pauly, cunt hairs move battleships. I said, what? I swear to God, I'm like fucking 12 or 15 or something like that. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, Paul, cunt hairs move battleships. I'm like, what does that mean? He goes, they cause wars, they cause this, they cause that. And he's right. Look at fucking Bill Clinton. Look at fucking Donald Trump. You know, look at all the fucking people. This little strip of vagina right here, this little strip of right here, can you see me, Tyler? Yeah. This little strip of vagina causes what? Causes fucking wars. And my dad gave me that information. I didn't fucking come up with it. This fucking guy said, Paul, if I give you any word of advice, I just want you to know, cunt hairs move battleships. All right, good night, I gotta go. So, but he's true, it's true, they do. They cause wars. But he was an amazing father, and he was there for me. He was there for me. My mom and him didn't have a great relationship, but I don't need to get into that. It's not about my mom. It's about my father. It's about my father. I'm not wearing a fucking Mitzi Shore shirt right now. I'm wearing a Sammy Shore shirt right now. My dad had the worst but the most awesome hairpiece as well. Once again, my dad had the most worst but awesome hairpiece as well. This is a fucking hairpiece. Did you know that, Tyler? No. It looks fucking sick, right? Yeah. And he was sporting this shit in the 70s and 80s, dude. That's tight work, right? Yeah. Does it look like I have a hairpiece? No. How do you know that I don't? I can see the forehead, dude. You can see the forehead, huh? I don't have a hairpiece. But yeah, my dad, he wore a hairpiece, and as a kid, me and my brother Peter, we used to go to the park. We'd go West Hollywood Park, and I swear to God, you know, because my parents were divorced, and my dad would take us to the park, and we'd play Frisbee with this fucking hairpiece. How crazy is that shit? He'd literally take off his hairpiece, and he'd fucking fling it, and we'd fucking, you know, and do it. You know what I mean? It was fucking pretty wild. My dad was a fucking amazing comedian, too. A lot of people don't know that. He actually toured with me. He opened for me for several years. The last part of his life, the last I'd say 20 years, he opened for me on the road. For those of the people out there watching Random Rants, which is my video podcast, you probably have seen Pauly Shore and Sammy Shore together. It was always called a family affair, and it was pretty cool, you know, because you don't ever see that. You don't ever see a true father-son comedy team together on stage. You always see like, you know, older guy, younger, whatever, but this was like a real, true father-son comedy team. And it was amazing. My dad would go on stage and he'd fucking kill. And then he'd be like, he'd give me a great introduction. He'd be like, are you guys ready for the man you came to see? I don't know. He didn't say that. He goes, no, here's what he said. He said, I opened for Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett, Anne Margaret, Barbra Streisand, because my dad's fucking old school fucking legend. And he says, but my favorite entertainer, you know, my favorite time or something like that is opening for my son. Here he is, my son, Pauly Shore. And then I'd fucking come out and we'd put Sister Sledge's We Are Family would blare out of the speakers, and we would dance around really silly. You know, here, I'll go over here. We are family, da 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 da. Maybe I'll put it on my... What's good part about this podcast is I have no editing. I could do and say whatever I want. So I'm going to put on We Are Family by Sister Sledge, and I'm going to celebrate my dad. So this is how he would bring me out. So just fucking Google that shit. So he would bring me out to Sister Sledge's We Are Family, and we would dance around. Sister Sledge, We Are Family. Okay, here we go. So this is how he would bring me out. Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Dun, dun, dun. My son, Pauly Shore. And then we would dance around. We are... Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. This is to my dad, Sammy Shore. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. Me and my dad would dance like this. Get up, everybody, sing. And then I would say, give it up to my dad, Sammy Shore, I'm like, you guys, that's my fucking dad. How awesome is that shit? And then I would say, now you guys know I'm so fucked up. Acorn doesn't fall far from the tree. And it actually made sense, and it was really cool, because the people that all come to see me at the shows, they all are there to see me because they're there to see me, and they all know, most people know that Pauly Shore's nuts. And then when my dad performed, it kind of solidified the whole reason why I'm fucking nuts, because this guy's my fucking dad. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it made sense. So it's like acorn didn't fall far from the tree. So that was you know, that's what we do. And then after, he'd come on stage and we'd fuck around and shit. So it was, you know, it was, Jeff Ross once told me, the comedian Jeff Ross once told me how fortunate and lucky I am, and how lucky I was to actually be able to work with my father, and it's true. And I definitely cherished all those times in those 20 years, 25 years of him touring with me and opening for me. We'd be on the bus together, we'd get the girls, and it was fucking good. But 92 years old, that's a fucking good-ass run, you know? It's never easy, but it's still a good-ass run. Fucking Indians and Asians only live to fucking 92, not old Jewish fucking Borscht Belt fucking crusty-ass comedians. They don't fucking live to that, but, and I definitely want to put a shout-out to his wife, Suzanne, who had been married to my dad, I counted it down, 29 years, so let's just say 30 years. My dad's fucking 92, so they started dating, I think, at 62, so I guess there's fucking hope for me. And I think that's pretty cool. So I want to put a shout out to Suzanne for fucking being his rock and taking care of my dad and being with him. I know how much she loved him. She was Miss Alabama. How crazy is that shit?
That's fucking tight.
Yeah, Miss Alabama, like 73 or some shit. I don't know. But yeah, my dad likes those wild babes as well. You know what I mean? Because I think I dated Miss Tallahassee or some shit.
For real?
No, but sounds good. Don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad was an amazing father, and good dude. He was an alcoholic back in the day, but he'd been sober for fucking 30, 40 years. He used to party a lot. I don't want to get into the whole thing. I mean, I'd be fucking here forever. You know what I mean? I'd be here forever. But he used to party a lot. Oh, here's the big deal. This was something I want. It's too loud right here, right?
Yeah.
It's too loud. I'm gonna go back over in this area. How's this going so far? Good?
Yeah, it's good.
You think my dad would be liking this, or you think it's fucking terrible?
No, I think it's cool.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think so.
So one of my dad's biggest claim to fame, if that's what you call it, besides being my father, of course. No, I'm just kidding. No, one of my dad's biggest claims to fame was opening for the king of rock and roll, Mr. Elvis Presley. My dad actually toured and opened for Elvis Presley for about 7 years. Toured with him all over America. Basically what happened is that my dad was performing and opening for Tom Jones, and Elvis Presley loved Tom Jones, and Elvis Presley was in the audience when my dad was performing, and he said, "Man, bring me that little Jewish kid, man. I like that Sammy. Bring me Sammy." And he fucking brought my dad backstage, and my dad met the Colonel, and my dad actually opened for Elvis and fucking toured around with him. And my dad even wrote a book called The Man Who Made Elvis Laugh, which was his time with Elvis Presley, if you want to check that out. And so that was like one of his biggest claims to fames, was him touring and opening for Elvis Presley. And I actually met Lisa Marie, Elvis's daughter, when I was a kid, because if you Google this shit, that's what's crazy about the internet. If you Google it, you can Google Pauly Shore's age and Lisa Marie's age. Lisa Marie Presley and Pauly Shore are born on the exact same day, same birthday, same everything. 1968, February 1st. Pauly Shore, Lisa Marie are born February 1st, 1968. And that was when I was with her in a playpen when Elvis Presley and my dad were touring. What do you think about that shit, Tyler? Yeah, so, so it was just a lot of stuff to talk about with him. And one day I'll fucking, I'll write a book or get more into it, but it's kind of fresh. His funeral is tomorrow. It's kind of weird. I don't know if you guys ever been to a funeral before, but they're pretty exciting as well. It's kind of like going to Chuck E. Cheese. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, but we're gonna send him off in a nice thing. Then we're gonna do a nice reception afterwards. So there's so much to talk about. With my dad. But, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild, I'm an orphan, so if anyone wants to adopt me, I'm available. At least the good part is when he did pass, he'd pass of natural causes. He had this throat thing. It was hard for him to swallow towards the end. And but 92 years old, man. I mean, he was a gym rat. My dad was a gym rat. Get that fucking pillow off my face! And my dad was a gym rat, and he loved to go to the gym. He had a lot of friends at Gold's Gym in Venice Beach, and he was strong. My grandparents are from Kiev, which is Russia. I'm a Russian descent, and it's been This last year has been quite a tizzy with all the. Excuse me, I got a burp. I always have to burp. That's because you don't chew your food right. What the fuck? With all these different people passing. But life is a conveyor belt, ladies and gentlemen. Life is a conveyor belt. As someone passes, someone's born. Someone passes, someone's born. If you can make it to the fucking end of the conveyor belt from the beginning to the fucking end like my father, you're doing pretty good. But I visited him a lot in Las Vegas this last couple of months. I would go out there, I don't know, maybe once a month or, spend time with him. And I remember one of the times I said, Dad, let's go outside. He's like, for what? I'm like, what do you mean? Let's go outside. He goes, I've seen everything. Just leave me the fuck alone. Don't touch me. And it's true, dude, because when you fucking get older, you don't want to be moved. You're all brittle. And one of the last times he performed, one of the last times I performed in front of him was at the Laugh Factory in Las Vegas, and his wife Suzanne was there, and it was an awesome time. He told me, and I'm not just saying this to fucking try to toot my own horn because I wouldn't do that. It's not good. But he really liked my show, and he really liked what I was doing on stage. So it was nice. A lot of people don't get that. A lot of people, that's like a big part of life is doing something and putting your shit out there and having your parents do what? Kind of accolades, like oh, you were great, or, basically we want, what's it called, Tyler? We want what from our parents? Approval. We want approval from our parents, and I got that from him. But went away. He passed. I was in Detroit when I found out. And then I was on stage with Dave Grohl the next night, doing a toast and kind of a, what's it called, an homage? Yeah. An homage to my father, Sammy Shore. So, I'm still on this earth, thank God. And I'm going to carry your legacy, Dad. You're right there. I'm going to carry your legacy for the rest of my life. And I'm going to spread the word of Sammy Shore, My dad was the original, you guys. He was the fucking original Borscht Belt. He was friends with Don Rickles. He was friends with Sid Caesar, Larry King. He started in Miami Beach back when show business was show business. He played Vegas back in that time. And I was so fortunate, to have him as my father. And I'm very blessed to have both my parents, raise me around this environment, all by accident. And all by accident. It was my brother Scott, actually, who, I have a brother named Scott who's 60, I think he's 66. Right now he's watching going, don't say that. But, and that was the first. And then there was Sandy, who passed. And then my brother Peter, and then myself. So I want to put a shout out to my parents who are watching up in heaven. Thank you for not aborting me. I know you guys really thought about it. No, for real, dude. My mom's sister talked my mom out of it. Now they're not speaking. No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, I want to thank my parents for bringing me out to Hollywood and letting me experience my life. And one day, you guys, I'll rejoin you up in heaven. But right now, I got a lot of work to do, and I want to spread your guys' legacy, Mom, Dad, my sister Sandy. My sister Sandy's got a wild name. My sister Sandy's name is Sandy Seashore. That's her fucking name. Yeah, her fucking name. I was like, Mom, where did you come up with that shit? She goes, driving down the ocean. I was driving down PCH. I smoked some pot, and I saw the fucking ocean. I said, Sandy Seashore. It sounds good to me. That's what she said. So anyways, I want to thank my dad, and I love you, Dad, for being on this earth. And you have so many fans, and you have so many people that loved you and still love you, that are going to be at your funeral tomorrow, and then we're going to do something at the Comedy Store probably about a month from now, and we're going to spread your legacy, Dad. We're going to spread your legacy all over the world. I'm going to continue talking about you, and I'll do different podcasts and tell more stories about you, and it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool run you had, Dad. So I guess that's it for now. I'm going to sign off on my podcast. I'm going to go up here to my final resting place, I'd say. And let me see. So this has been Pauly Shore's Random Rants podcast dedicated to my father, the late, great Sammy Shore, who I loved very much. I love very much. And we had a lot of laughs. And I definitely want to put another shout out to Suzanne, his wife, and now widow. But it's not really his widow because she's still staying in the house that they and she told me, she goes, I'm still speaking to him. I'm like, he passed. She goes, no, he's still here. I'm like, all right, do your thing. You know, that's your thing. So, Suzanne, I want to thank you very much for being with my father. I know how much you loved him and everything else. So this has been a Sammy Shore memorial celebration, reception, looking back podcast video. I hope you guys are having a good one. If your parents are still alive, why don't you call them up tonight and tell them whether you like them or don't like them. Just say, hey, Mom, Dad, I love you, or what's up? You know, I think they'll appreciate that. So that's it for now. This is Pauly Shore signing off. Check out my tour dates because I got to continue the legacy. I'll be doing shows in Long Beach this weekend, and then I'll be flying to the fucking coast of Florida. I'll be in Tampa, Orlando, Sarasota, and Naples, or we like to call them nipples. And we're going to sign off one more time with my dad, Sammy Shore. Later, dudes. Bye. Bye. Mwah.